Hi, I'm Funshola Ode. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're searching for a message that transcends the confusion and chaos of our world, you're in the right place. And even more importantly, on this channel, we deal with truth that can help you um, with self-awareness and self-discovery. Something that is really necessary in this world, as there's a barrage of opinions coming from everyone and from the environment. So it's necessary that if you are thinking self-discovery, self-awareness, the Kingdom Reborn is the channel to go. So we are going to get into today's video, and I hope that you are going to learn something, because today's topic is going to be mind-blowing, and it's something that is really important for people to know. So going into today's video, we are dealing with the difference between anger, rage, resentment, and bitterness. These are four very powerful words that is giving psychologists, psychiatrists, behavioral scientists, counselors, and people in the mental health providers a lot of problems in this world right now. They are struggling with the high rise of anger, and there's so much drugs now on anger management, on suppressing anger and negative emotions. And so it's necessary to know the difference, the fundamental difference between these four, what I call states of mind. Now, to begin, I have to say I would use the word state of mind rather than emotion. Why? Because from what you will learn, anger is the only emotion out of these four words that I've mentioned. And what are these words? Let me recap. Anger, rage, resentment, and bitterness. Now let's dive in. What is anger? Anger is a natural emotion. It's an emotion. It's natural. It's a response. We feel it, and it's neutral, which is something that must be understood. Anger is neutral. Many times people think when you want to hurt someone, or that's when you feel anger. No, that's not the case. You can be angry at something bad. You can be angry at something in your society that is appalling, and then you do something positive to counter it out of the anger. That is anger. So anger is an emotion. It's neutral. It's like happiness. You can be happy. People have different things that make them happy. It's neutral. It's just based on the human being. It's just an emotion. Anger exists in everybody. There is nothing wrong with anger. Anger is absolutely something that everybody must know and everybody must experience over the course of their lives, and that's anger. I have some statistics on anger. Almost a third, this is according to the Mental Health Organization, almost a third of people a third of people say rather that they have a close friend or family member who has trouble controlling their anger. More than 1 in 10 people say that they have trouble controlling their own anger. These are some interesting statistics, but as we go through the video, you will find out that it is that once people understand the difference between these four closely related states of mind, then they are able to process better, and it helps them, most importantly, with self-awareness. So as I said earlier, anger is just a human response. Anger is an emotion. Anger is something that we experience. Everyone experiences it. It can be channeled either positively or negatively. It's something that can even birth purpose. Anger can birth purpose. You can see an example that comes to mind is Mother Teresa, who people always talk about. She was angry at the poverty she saw around her, and even though she looked so small to actually take on that kind of cause, her anger was able to push her and steer her in the direction where she actually took up that cause because she was angry. So her anger led her to her purpose. It led her to do something positive for our community, for our society, for our world, for our generation. That is anger. Now moving on. Secondly, so what's rage? What is rage? Rage is a reaction. Rage is not an emotion. Now, there are different extents to which people react and to which people express their rage. But rage is a reaction. Now, you can have no rage without anger. So rage has to do with a reaction that is most times negative. It's most times violent. It's most times pushed to the extreme of negativity. So when you get angry and you want to do something harmful, you want to do something that is just going to hurt the next person, that's when you start talking about rage. So rage is a reaction. So you may be angry and you channel your anger towards positivity. But when you are angry and you channel your anger towards doing something negative, towards doing something extremely negative, towards hurting, towards harming someone, now that's rage. Of course, because people are different, we all dispense our rage at different levels because humans are inherently different. But one thing that stays consistent is that rage is a reaction from anger. Rage most times is violent. Rage most times is extremely negative. So that's rage. So anger, remember, anger is the emotion, is the human emotion. Rage is the reaction from anger that is an emotion. So you need to get those two things right. Now moving deeper, when I'm done with this video, you will understand that it's like a 4-step ladder. Is a 4-step ladder to that is in a sequence, and it's necessary to understand that. So as you experience anger, you know what it could be, and you can control yourself, and you can take control of yourself to the point where you know how to channel your anger and how not to channel your anger. So anger is the emotion, rage is the reaction. Moving forward is resentment. Now resentment is the perception. Resentment is very powerful. Why? Because at the level of resentment, your belief system is active. For anger and rage, they are surface. They are much more. They are the attitudinal level. They are the behavioral level, the conduct level. But for resentment is at the belief system level. Resentment is really powerful. People who have resentment may not be angered by anybody. They may not be pushed to have rage, but right there in their belief system, they perceive the world a certain way. People who have resentment see everything from the place of their resentment. It allows them perceive the world in a certain way. They begin to see the world in a way that is different from every other normal person. And that's what makes resentment dangerous. Although resentment is not as dangerous as bitterness, which we'll get into very soon, but resentment is like the beginning of the danger. So a resentful person just looks at someone else, maybe doing what they are doing and doing it better, and they see everything wrong, and they see everything negative about how the person got there. That and they see every reason to be angry. Now that's the key. Resentment is the factory for anger. Resentment makes it easy for anger to be manufactured. Once you are resentful, you would look at the world in a certain way and manufacture anger where anger isn't. And most times the anger is going to be channeled towards the negative part. So people who are resentful can't really see the world is in through love anymore. They can't believe in the world anymore. They can't believe in people anymore. They can't believe in the world working and in the world actually having love save them. No, they are skeptical, they are cynical, they have a high proclivity to hatred. These are the things that make you know that a person has resentment. Now the very hard part of resentment is it's much more spiritual. It goes into the subconscious mind. You can't give a person a pill or a medication against resentment. It won't work. Why? Because it has gone into the subconscious mind. Someone has to get into, or an idea has to get into their belief system to clean it out, because resentment is like a virus in the belief system, and it begins to eat the belief system up. And for friends, for these people's friends, families, work relationship, life, environment, nation, they just can't find anything right. They just end up every day believing the world less and less, and they get more pessimistic and keep losing their optimism. That's what makes resentment very dangerous. Resentment rewires your perception. So anger is an emotion, rage is a reaction, and resentment is a perception. Now lastly, the last and the most dangerous of it all is bitterness. Now bitterness is a disposition. Bitterness is dangerous and can eat a person up very fast. Bitterness, at the point of bitterness, it's not just your belief system. Your entire ideology, your entire person has shifted. You really aren't the average person, although these things are intangible, so many times it's not written on the forehead. But a person who is bitter has experienced what I call a soul shift. Their souls have shifted somewhere else and is drawing spiritual energy from something utterly out of the world. I know this sounds mystical or so, but that's the fact. At the bitterness level, there is a soul shift. You need a soulical conversion for bitterness to leave. Bitterness is the root of the entire tree. Bitterness is like having a poisoned root in a poisoned soil. That's what bitterness is. So no matter how much you try to clean up the root, the poison in the soil poisons the root again, and it's an endless cycle of resentment. Now resentment with a change in environment and with a change in people around, you can easily reconstruct resentment from a person, deconstruct resentment from a person's belief system, but you can't do that with bitterness. If you take a bitter person out of their environment and put them in another environment, you can't still guarantee that they won't be bitter. Why? Because bitterness is a disposition. It becomes part and parcel of your identity. That is the dangerous power of bitterness. For bitterness to live, there has to be a spiritual soul conversion, a soul shift that actually transforms the very seed of your self-existence. Because for something to be part of your identity, you have to have a different kind of connection with the spiritual realm for you to be healed of bitterness. That is why the pharmaceutical industry can't provide a cure for bitterness. They can't provide a pill for bitterness. They can suppress it for a while, but that's how far they can go. Bitterness is a spiritual soul disposition that eats into the spirit, eats into the soul, and eats into the psyche. You don't want to get to the place of bitterness. You don't want to get, at resentment, you should already have your light on. You need to get out of your environment. You need to get new ideas into your mind. You need to get positivity and optimism surrounding you. But because at bitterness, it's almost impossible to recover from bitterness, except, of course, a different spiritual energy gets through to you. And this is a difficult task. So now, if I could just recap the entire ladder: we have anger, we have rage, we have resentment, and we have bitterness. Anger is the emotion. Rage is the reaction. Resentment is the perception. And bitterness is the disposition. You do not want to get to the disposition point. You can handle anger because anger is natural. It's a natural response. It's a neutral experience. Rage is something you can learn to control. Resentment is a perception that can be fixed. Your belief system can be wiped, can be reorganized, can be reconfigured. But bitterness holds on at the self-awareness place of your being. You need a spiritual conversion to get bitterness out, and you don't want to get there. So I hope you understand the differences, or the difference between anger and rage and resentment and bitterness. I hope this video helped you. I'm putting this video under like emotional health tips for self-awareness and self-discovery. I'll be doing some videos after this, and one of them, I don't know if it's going to be the next video, and one of them will be the 4 levels of relationship. Stay tuned and watch. Thank you. See you in the next video.